Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 129th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and Audio Technica. I'm a not-so-humble host, Brendan White. You can find me everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, the John Marsden and Arthur Morgan to my Dutch Vanderlind. Miss Ali Hart, who can be found at Miss Ali Hart, and Salim Abraham, who can be found at Salim TD. How you doing, you goddamn cattle wranglers? What's going on?
All right, let's clear this. Who's John? Who's Arthur?
I'm thinking Dream might be John because he's sort of a little bit of a wayward soul here and there. He's got a good heart, but he's still learning his way in the world. Where Arthur is, he's punctual. He's always there. He's reliable.
Diligent. He's diligent.
Not my Arthur, but all right.
Very efficient killer.
Yes. I actually didn't think it any further through than comparing us to characters, but I'll definitely sort of try and work out some origin stories for yourselves to chain those two into one entity there. But yeah, how you doing? It's a Sunday morning here. The birds are chirping. The sun is shining.
Yeah, the sun is actually shining for both of us.
Yep.
After some dismal weather past few days.
That's it. How is it in the future? It is currently 9:28 here, 10:28 for you guys down in the New South.
It's okay, things are still kind of the same. You'd be surprised. It doesn't change much. It doesn't change much. People are a bit nicer in the future.
Like on a completely unrelated note, the lack of daylight savings, it's great, but it also confuses me even more just with work and the different areas I got to take care of, trying to factor in who's where at what time zone. And then also one thing I've noticed too up here is the structure leading up to school is weird. Like in New South Wales, we do daycare, preschool, and then kindergarten, sort of your first year of official school, right? But here it's like preschool before daycare, and then there's pre-prep and kindergarten, then you start school as prep. So there's all these weird other terminologies that just spin me out. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Mate, just pull up stumps and move back to civilization.
It's too expensive. And it's, too busy.
That's the truth.
I'm just trying to slowly but surely make everyone migrate north. That's the plan.
That was your plan for a solid minute. I tell you what, there was you were pitching it to everyone.
It's still there. That those embers are still sort of burning in that fire. We'll just need to stoke it a little bit more over the coming months and see if we can convert anybody up to the Sunshine State, as they call it.
F and Q.
Suburbians.
Mm-hmm. Head up to F and Q.
Oh yeah.
Far north Queensland. Anyway,
how you been? What have you been playing? I know we've got a similar thread again about what we've been playing, the common interest known as Red Dead Redemption 2. Did we want to quickly skim on any maybe notable stories or discoveries or things that you've encountered during your time on Red Dead this week?
I'm going to go first only because my week has been pretty crazy at work. So I really haven't felt compelled to really play much video games. But what I was saying before to Brenda was I actually turned on Red Dead and didn't do anything but listen to my own music and just went for an adventure with my horse and just went and explored and didn't do anything, didn't do any missions, didn't go meet any people. I just went and just rode my horse through the environments just to relax. And that's all I did with that game. And I loved it. It was an interesting thing that I thought wow, this game is that good. The environments are so good that was good enough for me. And it was exactly what I needed after a really heavy week. So, and I'm still the goodest boy. Still no bounty to my name.
God's best boy.
Not a bounty to my name. Still good. Still wholesome. And Wildfire, my horse, is still alive and kicking.
Nice. I like the name.
And Carl is... Well, yeah, it beats Carl.
Can I ask, you said you sort of listen to your own tunes. How was sort of that juxtaposition of going from the traditional Western soundtrack to I guess what genre were you pumping through your headphones when you were sort of listening as you were pillaging the West?
I might have been playing some retro synth.
Wow.
But
Nice.
it worked. It worked because it's like the music's still very like the stuff that I was listening to was still kind of atmospheric. So especially like traveling during like dawn and like sunset, and even through like some of the night sequences as well. It kind of worked. Yeah, it was just nice. I don't know if anyone out there does it, but yeah, it's just. Yeah.
So we had a incredibly different experience this week, Ali, you and I. I didn't play too much of it. I was thinking, though, when we first started talking about the game, the episode after it came out, I said that it wasn't gratuitously violent. And I take that all back.
I was about to say, yeah, it is.
But I think I was talking about how like the game doesn't force you to do anything horribly violent. It's just more on you. But like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, it is incredibly violent. So this week, Ali, like you, I decided to just take a break from the missions and just kind of enjoy the sort of side missions and meeting people and this and that. And I found myself in a situation where no one in the town was talking to me anymore. I was barred from all the shops. Everything was locked for me. I couldn't work out why. I had about a $650 bounty in Rhodes. And
wow, that's serious.
Dude, I had to pay $1,600 back at the end of this whole thing, but no one would talk to me. So I just decided massacre time. So I started killing everyone I could find. I was just killing indiscriminately, and eventually I ran out of bullets, and so and obviously the policemen spawn everywhere. My goal was just to like see how far I could get. Like, you know, when you used to play GTA and you'd play with your friends and you'd just be like, let's see who can get to the highest star count and stay there for the longest. Did that. Let's get the tank, so to speak. My horse died. My level 4 bonded horse. I didn't name it. Let's just call it
Horse.
Percival.
Percival
died.
Percival the horse.
And then at that point I was really like, well, fuck this then. Like, so I was just going until I got taken down. So I must have killed like scores of people for $160. They were like, cool. Like $160 is all any of them were worth on top of my existing $660 bounty.
A massacre is worth $160.
Sorry?
Did you say like a massacre was like worth $160?
Like, yeah, I paid. You die and you come back with like $160 less in your wallet, which is fine. I'm at stacks now. Like, I've got stacks. My camp's fully upgraded. So, you know, who cares? And then I thought it'd be kind of nice to use the stagecoach again. So I started paying off my bounties everywhere. Yeah. So that was my experience with Red Dead.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't massacre a town. I bought a $1,000 horse though.
Wow.
That was
what?
Yeah, I bought the Arabian sort of black legit racehorse from the French Quarter. The town, I keep forgetting the town's name there.
Saint Denis.
Yeah, so I'm rolling around Saint Denis doing all the quest lines in there now. Which is great. I like sort of the change of going into sort of more mainstream America, you know, getting into the first modern towns as it would be back then. And yeah, spent 1,000 buckaroos on a horse. So I've got Freddy rolling around on Freddy now. He's quick as a whip. But
Freddy,
every time he gets like I get into a gunfight or something, I just grimace, just expecting my horse to get gunned down or something, and my $1,000 to go down the shitter. But so far, he has withstood the various sieges and shootouts and everything else. I had to go get Tilly Jackson back from a local gang just last night, and heavy gunfire there. But the old Freddy kept on trucking, made it through without an issue. So I haven't played a ton of Red Dead this week. A couple, probably all up, maybe 3-4 more hours this week on that, because there's been so many new games and variations of existing games coming out. Like the first one, the old WWE Supercard has sunk its hooks in again. Season 5 of that has started, which is great. But at the same time, it made my once great superior deck that I've grinded and obviously dropped some cash in the early days, now to just a lowly average deck because there's now like 3 more higher tier caliber of cards that make the rest of my stuff just scum.
They got you.
So
that's egregious power creep.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts, man. Like I had like this SummerSlam plus deck, which was like legit, and now it's just gone back to this mid tier nothing because these 3 tiers of cards are just so much better than everything I had. So that hurt a little bit, but it's still cool. They completely changed the UI and the look and feel of the app. It's really clean, so it's nice to see that. Just would have been nice for them not to completely gut all my hours of hard work in this game in one foul swoop update. But anyway,
Not to mention the financial investment.
Yes. So financial and emotionally invested, and the gut punch from Big Cat Games or whatever it is that the main guys developing this thing. Oh, Cat Daddy Games. Sorry, just it hurt.
How heavily are you into the WWE now? Like, are you still like watching it? And stuff, or?
I try and make a point of at least watching the pay-per-view every month. But as far as the Raws and the SmackDowns that are on every week, I usually just sort of try and read reviews just to sort of see what's going on. Because that in itself, there's 5+ hours just in those 2 shows every week. And then everything else.
No, I was just wondering.
I'd like...
Because you probably would get like characters now. Like, I'm not up to date. I barely know what's going on anymore. But I could imagine you'd be getting characters now in your deck, and you'd be like, "I'm
there's a few of them coming through." But I think the coolest thing going on in the WWE at the moment is a woman in there, Becky Lynch. She's almost become the female Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like she's so over.
She's the Irish one, right?
Yeah, she's the Irish girl, and she's the champion at the moment of SmackDown, and she legit got her nose broken and concussed in a match the other day. It wasn't scripted because now she can't take place in Survivor Series tomorrow, but like she's just so over, and she's just this badass sort of embodiment of, like, she calls herself the man. She's like, I'm the man, I go into this locker room and all these other guys aren't shit and everything else. Like she's great to watch. Well, at least from the promos and everything that I've been sort of watching on YouTube. But I digress. Fallout 76. 300
talking about being big.
Yeah, $300 worth of Fallout 76. The helmet, the power armor helmet's actually pretty cool. Light and voice changing. Maybe not $300 worth, but I certainly had some enjoyment with it for 10 minutes. And Archer ran around chasing Winnie. Winnie's terrified of this helmet. You put the helmet on and Winnie forgets who you are and he just wants to attack you. So that's fun.
Good dog.
But the helmet looks nice on the shelf now. So, righto. But the game itself, I sort of take back a little of what I said during my beta impressions. Playing it together is really fun, roaming the wasteland and things. But the fact that, the entire populace of West Virginia has been wiped out is still annoying. Following those breadcrumbs and holotapes and notes and everything to weave your story in wears thin pretty quick because you know the outcome for every one of these people that you're living through, their holotapes and their diaries, because you know everyone's dead. So it's just like, I know what happened here. So what's gonna be different than the other 100 quests I just did with this sort of same arc? But I haven't encountered any of the server issues. There is a lot of hullabaloo on the internets where there's disconnections, can't party up, things like that. On the PC, we've had a smooth run. Rach and I and NATO were rolling out for a while there, and then Rach and I tried to get on, but then Benny jumped into bed. But as far as connectivity goes, we haven't any issues partying up, sharing quests, taking down baddies and what have you. So that's been fun, but I just know straight away playing this by yourself would be a very barren, bored, depressive game.
I watched someone stream it by themselves, and it was the most boring, depressing thing I have ever watched. It definitely wasn't made for the single player, and there's probably a lot of people out there going, no duh. But I just think that a lot of people that maybe thought that they could, they need that heads up.
You need to, anyone that's looking to buy Fallout, it's worth an investment if you can get some people to guarantee that they'll jump on with you. But if not, I'd wait until you can get that guarantee, because it'd be a dry, boring experience by yourself, because a lot of it's rinse and repeat. A lot of it is just kill some scorches, grab a holotape, listen to that, go to the next point, rinse and repeat again.
Just on the bugs and stuff, the release notes aren't out, but there's meant to be a huge patch for Fallout 76 next week. It's got to be huge because they've kind of gotten ahead of the curve and said this patch will be big. It will be bigger than other future patches, just to let you know. Patch sizes may vary, but this one's on the bigger side next week, and it's meant to be fixing quests, like issues with the UI, some bugs, just general bug fixing sort of stuff. I thought that was really comical though, that's what they've kind of come out with, rather than just saying these are the patch notes, the patch will come in. So if you've got the game, I guess, and you're still playing next week, be prepared for a sizable patch. I have found a new hobby in Fallout 76. I love seeing influencers just post completely, negligible shit about the game. Just like photos with Pip-Boy and everyone's smiling and doing the thumbs up, completely disregarding the fact that the game's an awful game. They're just like smiling like, Pip-Boy, thumbs up, like, cannot wait to play this game. This game's an awesome game. Da-da-da. Like, that's my new hobby now. I love just going through my social medias, just being like, whoop, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much of that, man.
Bit vindictive, but whatever.
I don't feel like that's a Fallout thing. I just feel like you probably do that on your Twitter feed most days.
Yeah. They're all my posts. I'm like, why did I write that? Why did I write that? Anyway.
But I don't think I'll buy this game. I think I'm really just anticipating for Red Dead Online. I'll enjoy that, online multiplayer experience.
Yeah, well, still no confirmed date, but they said late this month, so
yeah,
it's getting to that end. It's the 18th
time's
now.
ticking.
So yeah, I just need to try. I want to finish the main single player campaign for Red Dead before the multiplayer drops, because as you said, Hard, it's going to be time consuming. It's going to take up a lot of people's lives, I think, especially if it's executed the way we intend it to. It's going to be fucking magical. But
it's going to be great.
On that topic of magic, I have rediscovered magic in the world of Pokemon. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. My goodness, this is fun. I am having a great little time sitting, whether I'm playing the Switch in sort of handheld mode. I played it on the telly. Arch and I played some multiplayer yesterday. Because you take just a Switch control, like a Joy-Con each, and you navigate your little characters. It is very much an intro to Pokemon for the younger audience to a degree. Like catching Pokemon, you don't have to battle them down to lower their HP to get it to a critical level and throw a Pokeball. It takes that Pokemon Go flavor, and you can just start peppering them with Pokeballs or throwing some berries at them to make it a little less easier to capture. But the rest of the core DNA is there. You've got your rival. My rival's name is Quincy. I don't know why I settled on Quincy, but that's who it is. So I'm rolling the yeah, it's Quincy. I don't know.
Was that a pre an available option? You know how it's your name Gary Blue, and yours is Quincy.
I think when Arch and I have played a bit of Lego, and we had like this bad guy in there that was like a police officer that like became corrupt, and I was calling it he was Detective Quincy, and we had to sort of chase him down.
I did the voice. I did the right voice for him as well.
So yeah, Quincy's my rival, but he's anything but. I wipe the floor with this son of a bitch every time I meet him. Just whoop him into oblivion. But just everything about this game is just fun. Like, it's pretty. The soundtrack's nice. The character models are good. The battling is still what you're used to. It's tried and tested from the OG. Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow days. Having little Eevee as my sidekick is just cute as shit. Even little things like when you take down a gym, you and Eevee have this little moment where you sort of look at each other and do a little head nod, and Eevee jumps up and you sort of do a little high five with his tail. Just little things like that. Yeah, it's so fun catching all those Gen 1 Pokemon now. Like, I haven't got Bulbasaur yet, which I found out you can actually get sort of just from a trainer to give to you. But I've got Charmeleon, Wartortle's leveled up now, Pikachu's getting there. I've got an Alolan Geodude, so he's like rock electricity. So he's a good little sort of variant to have in there too, just because he can do electric as well as rock attacks. But it's just great. They weave in the Team Rocket storyline, so you meet Jesse James and Youth. You meet Red and Blue, the original characters from the Red and Blue games. You know, they pop into the story here and there, and it's so fun. It's just fun trying to remember from playing Pokemon Blue and Red way back in the Game Boy, what the next steps were, trying to remember where you had to go after this, or did you have to go through, Diglett Cave and all this kind of stuff and everything else. But it's
Lavender.
yeah, it's so good though.
The dead people.
Dream, I think you'd love this. I really do.
Yeah, I've been looking into it this week. So a lot of the feedback and a lot of the reviews I've been reading are very similar to what you said at the start about it being an intro game to Pokemon. Also that it's quite easy, so even the battling is never really very challenging. And the sort of rock paper scissors strategy of the combat almost doesn't even factor. So I don't know. I was tossing up actually buying a Switch and getting this game. I really was thinking about it. I still might.
Yeah.
I just it looks great. It does look good. I just don't know how I'd go with it. Like
The battling,
I don't know if it's different enough that I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it.
That's exactly my thought. That's exactly my thought.
It's a nice coat of paint, like, is the best way to look at it. Like it's the best the Pokemon games looked graphically. But yeah, the battling can be a little light on. You do notice the effectiveness or not, or non-effectiveness depending on type Pokemon type when you are doing battles, but because you are getting like group XP from every Pokemon you catch as well, so you are noticing constantly your Pokemon moving up outside of just having to grind via battle. So as long as you are actively catching Pokemon or fighting random trainers on the roads, you don't really sort of find a level cap there where it does jump too high. Had a few battles I'm like, a few of my Pokemon have fainted, but I've never gotten to the point where I'm roll the dice on my final Pokemon of my 6 to try and sort of lead me to glory. I've lost a few, but yeah, nothing sort of in that regard where I finish the battle and I'm like, sweat off the brow and things like that. So
how so the Pokemon have levels, but they've also got combat power, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how does the combat power factor in?
So that'll factor in because there's sort of, they've divided up. Oh, well, they've added more candies. I don't know if that was a thing from Sun and Moon or whatever. I haven't played a Pokemon game in a little while, but now there's sort of candies broken down to, you can get specific ones tied to the Pokemon itself. So like you can get Eevee candies, or you could get strength-based ones, speed ones, ones tied to your special attack, your special defense, and things like that. And depending on what you're leveling up individually, it'll factor in and bump your overall combat points as well.
Right.
So it's not just rare candy to level up everything individually. You can get them too, but you can also just focus on specific attack and defense or speed-based attributes as well. So there's a bit of depth there. How deep it is, debatable.
That's different.
But
yeah. That sounds. It sounds like Pokemon Go did the Pokemon Candy specific candy, sorry, and the rest of it, fucking, who knows? Just came in maybe.
Yes.
I haven't played. What's the last one I played? Pokemon Y, I think.
Yeah, I don't even remember what was the last one I played.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, and obviously they definitely lean on Pokemon Go a lot. You can interface your accounts, so then when you get to, I think it's Fuchsia City, I can't remember. I haven't done any of the trades yet, but you can bring in your Pokemon from Pokemon Go to sort of walk with you. I haven't read the finer points if there is a way to have them amalgamate into your party and use them to battle and things. I think it's just sort of like an aesthetic thing. You sort of have them riding shotgun with you. But there is a big emphasis on that. I got the little Pokeball controller. Like I got the pack with that. So I tried playing with that a little bit, and it's cool in theory, but it is a little janky.
Novelty.
Yeah. So I disconnected that. Well, I thought I did, and then I was just playing on the Pro controller again. And then the little Pokeball was just vibrating like a fucker on my desk. I don't know what was going on, so I fully had to turn that off and disable it. But the cool thing was getting that edition is you actually get Mew in it as well. So I've got a little Mew in my little team now. So that was a nice little ad. But yeah, anyone that's looking for that nostalgia itch to be scratched, or that loves Pokemon, or want to bring their younger ones in, whether it be kids or siblings, this is definitely a good game that has no barrier to entry for the younger audience. It's cute as hell. The soundtrack's great. One thing that irks me is Eevee and Pikachu, the two obviously title characters, they get full like present day audio for themselves. Like, you know, they're talking in their little Eevee and Pikachu dialogue, but everything else is using the sounds from the Game Boy. So you get like them sort of chiptune almost sounds from all the other Pokemons. Like, and I guess it's a nice nod to the past, but at the same time, it sort of comes across a little bit disjointed at times. But
that's actually a really good point that I wouldn't have thought of. But I can see what they're doing. But maybe they kind of like how Wonder Boy did it, give you the option of like classic or current. Maybe they could have let you choose those. So that's a bit disappointing. I gotta say though, like Pokemon's really been killing it this week, especially with the release of that movie. The trailer anyway for Detective Pikachu.
So bizarre.
That's weird. It looks weird. It looks cool.
It looks weird, but I'm actually really excited for it. I absolutely loved the Mr. Mime scene. That alone pretty much sold it to me.
I actually caught a Mr. Mime last night, and he was a real fucker to try and catch. And I was thinking of that scene from the Pikachu trailer as I was trying to catch him. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck you.
Yeah. Also in Pokemon news this week, just while we're talking about it, Pokemon Go, more Gen 4 Pokemon have dropped. So like Rhyperior and Electivire and Magmortar, like the evolutions from those Gen 1 Pokemon are now available. But you just need to get the Sinnoh Stone, and to do that, you've got to do a bunch of research quests, which I can never seem to get done. I never get any traction on research quests ever.
No. There's always that one quest that it's just a pain in the ass to accomplish.
It's like win a raid. Like even win a raid is not hard. I just never find myself near raids often enough that I'm like giving it a crack.
I think it's for those really dedicated people, I guess.
Yeah. But those are the people that have Sinnoh Stones.
No, exactly.
But no, it's definitely it's been fun. It's been refreshing. Like Rach sort of went out with a few mates last night, and my intention was to smash out a heap of Red Dead last night. But before she left, I was playing Pokemon, and then I just kept playing Pokemon, and Red Dead didn't even get a look in. So the fact that you can just lay in bed in handheld mode, smashing out Pokemon, it's just far too convenient. And the fact you don't have to give it your full attention to, you can sort of just be moving around, pressing the A button, interacting, battling. You don't have to sort of be 100% invested at any one time. So
a game that you really don't have to think too much.
No, but it's really well done. Like, kudos to Nintendo for the execution on this, because it's got a lot of polish. Yeah. So Dream, get it, and then we can trade, I think, because we can actually.
Idea.
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I see you've been playing some WoW too. Did you want to give that any discussions before we start moving on up? Nope. Just been playing some WoW.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I renewed my subscription. That's all I'll say.
Just miss out on the Hungry Gamers Blizzard Hour of Power kind of section. Because I did say I did play Diablo, but I just wanted to say that I played it online with someone co-op, and it was still smooth as butter. So
nice.
Can I also say I've been watching, I didn't get to play it, but I've been watching a lot of WoW Classic. So the beta, there was a beta that came out. It's sort of more of a demo. There was a demo that came out around BlizzCon last week. And it looks cool. It looks really cool. It looks great. It looks old and aged and awful, and also very, very, very grindy WoW. And it looks great, and I love it. And I cannot wait.
Are you going back? Are you going back in?
I'm going back, yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't care. Even if it takes me
you have to go back.
Even if it takes me a year to get to level 60, I don't care. Like, I'll just do it.
There's a chance it could. The grind was very real in vanilla.
Yeah.
Power to you.
We'll see.
All right. Quick bit of housekeeping. We've got just about every single piece of content from PAX Australia now up on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/we8bit. There's around 15 videos available covering best in show. So we've awarded 9 or 10, I can't remember exactly, games and even a bit of hardware, giving some love to the NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti GPU. So we've got sub 60-second recaps on all of those. We've got some interviews from Sammy Deej talking to people like Devolver Digital, for example, as well as just some general reactions and feelings from PAX as a whole. So check that out over at youtube.com/we8bit. Be sure to subscribe while you are there, because we are definitely going to be pushing more into that video sphere moving forward. While you're also subscribing, rate, review, and subscribe on those iTunes, or chuck us a cheeky follow on Spotify or your podcast platform of choice. Not only us, but everyone in the hashtag 8bit Collective. 9 other podcasts, not including the Hungry Gamers, all available on just about every single platform. Give them some love, and all the other podcasts you're listening, because it keeps those emotional lights on in our hearts. All right, on to some news.
This week's news headlines.
So the first thing, it's a little bit somber, but I just wanted to say rest in peace Stanley Martin Lieber, known to the world as Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk, and so many more world-renowned characters from within the Marvel Universe. He passed away this past Monday at the age of 95. So, big shock, big tragedy, big loss. Visionary for, the comic and pop culture and geek culture renaissance that we're going through at the moment. He a very talented man. Seemed like a very nice fellow from all reports, and just from people I know that have met him at various events, even just for a hot minute. But Stan Lee, one of the greats, passes away this week. Sucks.
Yeah, it was, it was shocking news, but then also at the same time not so shocking, because I know that a lot of the most recent follow-up on Stan Lee's health was not great. A lot of people did mention that he was not in a great condition, and he was obviously also dealing with a bunch of legal shit, which is horrible. Yeah. It was really, really sad news. I actually got more shocking news when someone decided to tell me that Jim Lee died, and I was like, oh, Jim Lee died? Oh my god, of what? And then it's like, old age. And I'm like, how old was he? And then, it was Stan Lee.
Wow.
Stan Lee died. So,
Who's Jim Lee? I feel like I've missed a beat. Who's Jim Lee?
Oh, he's a comic book artist as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Sorry. He's done some Batman stuff. He also did some X-Men stuff.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah. Oddly enough, same universe, but the comic book universe. Yeah. But it was good to see also the celebrity reactions as well, and I think someone said something about them going to his funeral in their characters.
That would have been great. That would have been really nice to see. Nice little sort of final nod for the cast of the Avengers to roll in full Avenger garb, which would be great. But it's tough. Like as you touched on, there is obviously some ongoing things in the back end with his immediate family, which we hope is nothing more than rumor and hearsay. But lost his wife last year, and then he passed just on a year later. But 95, it's a hell of a run.
Damn right.
And we'll see him at least in sort of real time one last time in the Avengers 4 film coming out. They've done his cameo scene for that, but I'd say it's probably not the last time. They might try and immortalize him in every film, maybe CGI style, like Tupac moving forward. Who knows? It could be a nice little nod to keep the memory going.
Two people that I never thought would be referenced together as Stanley and Tupac, but sad news, but definitely immortalized in history.
Yeah, I saw a tweet going around for a newspaper. I can't remember if it was just in Australia or the US, but it was like in memoriam, and it had a photo of Stan Lee, but it was like rest in peace Spike Lee.
I think that was Australia, to be honest.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
In some more positive news, the Sony PlayStation 4 has officially turned 5 years old this week, and selling over 86 million units worldwide. That is a whole lot of PlayStation 4s out in the wilderness.
Yeah, does that take into consideration every like reiteration of a PlayStation 4, or is it just like the OG PlayStation 4 release?
Nah, from what I can understand, that encompasses the Slim or the Pro and all the other limited editions that they've rolled out as well. But still, 86 mil. It's a hefty number, hefty number.
It is hefty. It turns 5 though. Why does that feel like a long time?
Yeah, I had to sort of pivot for a minute when I read that. I'm like, has it really been 5 years? Really? Like, obviously it has. They're not lying to us, but like, it just didn't feel that way at all.
Fake news.
Yeah. But I guess on the back of that is some news that is causing a whole heap of discussion and sort of theorizing that Sony is skipping E3 2019. So Sony dropped a bombshell on Game Informer this week on the 5th anniversary of the PS4's launch, no less, telling the magazine that they'd be skipping E3 2019. No press conference, no booth, nothing. The competition was quick to pounce, of course, with Xbox tweeting, "We can't wait to see you all at E3 2019. And then sort of furthering on, why is Sony doing this? What is the goal? The company has attended E3 in each of the conventions 24 years. The decision to stop doing this is not one that's made lightly. And then moving on, IGN have 3 theories as to why Sony took this bold step. So we'll just sort of do the lead-ins on those theories. We won't read the meat of it, but the first theory is E3 is dying anyway, and Sony will just have its own event. What are your thoughts? Obviously, they do PSX. Well, they didn't do PSX this year.
I was going to say, they just...
I was about to say, they
just scrap that.
They did do PSX. I honestly think that is going to be the case. Like, they have decided maybe that they can just pull their own event and make it bigger, better, not, mixed up amongst the rest of the hullabaloo of E3, and just... yeah, do it their way and do it right, I guess. Yeah,
like E3 is definitely becoming oversaturated to the degree the fact that they've opened it up to the mass public, which is great in a way, obviously because E3 themselves want to generate more money. And on the back of that, there's rumors apparently that the money that they were requesting for booth spaces at E3 just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So this could be more so Sony planting a flag saying, no, thank you, because... a lot of these other guys, like you look at Devolver, who have their booth in the car park adjacent the convention center, sort of things like that. So there might be more guerrilla-based booths scattered around LA during the time of E3 because maybe the value's not there so much. I think with conventions, like just even in industries, like even just sort of in the professional lives that we have, it's very much you have to be there to be seen, even if it is taking a loss. Like, you don't get a huge amount of value. The vast majority of people that go to these conventions already know who you are and what you're promoting. But the second you're not there, it's always like, oh, that company must be going under financial hardship. They're, losing the race. So, there's not a huge amount of value you get out of these things, just from my personal experience in doing conventions and events.
Yeah, well, it's not like they're not an established name and they don't know how to, market their product. So, yeah. I think this one's probably the more likely one. They skip PSX this year and they're going to just hold everything back just to do maybe one mega show next year.
Yeah. So the theory 2, PlayStation 4's big guns won't be ready for 2019. So this is tying into The Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, and Days Gone, which has a date now for sort of March, but could potentially shift because it is a little bit wishy-washy. But like you look at Death Stranding and The Last of Us 2, they're probably the 2 biggest bullets in the chamber they've still got for PS exclusives. What do you think? I firmly stand behind the Death Stranding's like a 2020 release, and same as Last of Us 2. But what do you guys reckon?
I think Death Stranding, you've just sort of reminded me of this game, and I cannot wait to play it. It is going to be a fucking bonkers game. Death Stranding is 2019, end of year for me. I reckon they can do it.
I don't know.
I think they can.
That 2020 is looking more likely.
Or first quarter 2020, I think. but I think it's got to be close, right? Like it can't be too far off. It's been, well, it doesn't have to be anything, I guess, but it's been already about 2 years, 3 years.
I think 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, I think it's been 2 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess 2020. I take it back, 2020. Yeah, it's not a long time.
Yeah, just knowing Kojima.
Well, Kojima.
You know, he could just be tinkering and going further down that Kojima rabbit hole on the daily, you know?
Exactly. And he's like, he really sees himself as almost like a storyteller movie maker. So like, you know, and he's got his own freedom. So he can push that back as much as he wants to until he gets the product that he wants. So
yeah, I think there'd be a limit. I think if this is correct and Sony if this first theory about, you know, them doing their own mega show is correct, then they'll definitely want Death Stranding firmly meeting deadlines so that all of the marketing that goes along with it, you know, all of that businessy shit is all ticked off. I don't think it's this. I don't think that there are expected delays.
Yeah, I'm curious on the Death Stranding front. Once this game is made, to see exactly how much money it costs Sony to make. Like, Hideo is bringing in very notable people from the film and television spaces, which would cost a pretty penny. And then he's, you know, creating his own new engines and everything else. And yeah, he's a visionary and a trailblazer for this type of thing, but often at a heavy financial output. That was one of the things you sort of hear about the stories when he was with Konami, the amount of money that those games cost to make, just due to his ever-changing vision and scope and desire to make the next grand opus. So yeah, we'll see. And the last theory that IGN have thrown is Sony wants the PlayStation 5 to be its comeback. But it's interesting. Comeback?
What?
Like,
comeback.
The PS4 is selling like boatloads, as we confirm, 86 million plus units.
For the duration of this generation as well, they've actually led the market.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm wondering, and this is certainly something that makes a lot of sense, is maybe they will do a PSX at the end of 2019, and they will unveil the PlayStation 5 there, whether it be quick turnaround to be released for the Christmas holiday, or it will come in 2020, and then games like Death Stranding and The Last of Us Part 2 would be launch titles for this thing. That's where my brain sort of tends to process and think is the truest theory.
The true. That'd be nice. I don't know. It's hard to say. You never, like, there's no way, there's not even any hints that the PS5's out, really. Oh, like it being worked on, is there?
Oh, they're
Have we had
working
any
on
sort of chat about them
next gen
working on it?
hardware, but that's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah. This seems like the most, like, not risky, but the most, like,
It seems.
long reach of an excuse.
Yeah, I think this is the least likely. Like, how many teraflops is it going to be? Do you reckon, Brendan?
A solid 8. A solid 8
Has to be.
teraflops.
Has to be at least
Because
8.
the One X, I think 6.1, something like that.
Yeah.
So you'd want to go above that, because the One X, it's a beauty. I love playing anything on that thing. It's my baby.
So the real question is the PS5 going to also sound like a jet engine, or are we going to go for, like, maybe a spacecraft? Submarine.
It'll be sleek. It'll be
God, that
smooth
frustrates
and
me.
sleek.
It's so annoying. Like, it's so annoying, and I can't
what?
wait to play the noise of my Pro. Like, I can't wait to play online with you guys on the PlayStation, and just this thing be whirring like there's no tomorrow. Like, I want to be able to hear you guys through my headset or something like that. I'll be like, speak up! What? Just because it's the whole time, like.
Fucking alien in the background while we're in the wild west.
Yeah, and obviously they confirmed that they've got the next batch of Pros that are available now, which have updates to the fan to lessen the noise and things. Like, yeah, thanks, Sony. You could have got this shit sorted before you released this fucking thing. Like, the One X is whisper quiet straight out of the box, but this thing is just purring like a bloody, a pride of lions in my goddamn lounge room. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's interesting because in stark contrast to your One X, my Xbox OG Xbox One is the noisiest hardware shop I've ever heard in my life. It sounds like there's a fucking buzzsaw going off in there now.
That's why you all need to get a PC.
Yeah.
I have a PC.
Build a PC.
I have a laptop.
All right.
But
Good
all
for
right.
you.
All right. We get it, Ali.
yeah. But
what do we all think's more likely? Scenario A, B, or C?
Scenario A seems the more likely choice. Why wouldn't Sony take matters into their own hands and say, screw it, we can do it ourselves and we can do it better. We don't need to follow your rules. That's how I feel like it's probably going to go down.
Can I go A and C combined, where they have their own events like a big massive PSX next year? They unveil the PS5.
It's your vision. It's your
come out swinging that big Sony dick, as they do, and
Big old blue
that's
Sony dick.
it.
But hold on, then what do you do in 2020? Like, then do you go back to E3? That's the question.
If they lower the booth costs, if they lower the exhibiting costs, then I would maybe consider it if I was at Sony. But yeah, I just think doing their PlayStation experience and events and things like that is just a better way to do it, because you've got fans that are invested with Sony as opposed to the general populace at, say, an E3 where you can get a sprinkling of everything. So you're getting the true fans, you're giving them more fan service, more direct touch with the franchises they like and the brand they love. So I like the XO 18 that was on just the other day in Mexico with Xbox and Microsoft. I like these singular based events. I think they're the way to go.
Same. Yeah, it's just easier to absorb all the content as well. Like when, you're not trying to take in every single developer and content that's being released during the time of E3. And these single-handed events, it's just sweet, I'm strictly focused on, Microsoft content, on Sony content, on, I think it's a smart move. E3 is just meant to be what it is a convention, right?
Yeah. What about you, Dream? What do you think?
To be honest, I couldn't care either way. I don't mind. I really don't mind.
Anarchy!
I love news. Everyone always loves news. So anytime we get new details about upcoming games that we're waiting for, or find out a brand new games in the works, that's always cool. E3 is a really exciting time. E3 is like Christmas, really, for us in what we're doing. But I just, this year, E3 to me was just kind of, I really did not fucking love anything I saw. Nothing blew me away the same way that E3 2 years ago did, with Bethesda coming out and just being like, Fallout 4, bah, yours. That kind of stuff's what makes it great. And then when you have slow years, and you will have slow years, it just kind of makes it lackluster. But
forced content.
But E3 still presents this pomp, sort of, this is amazing, this is the best year in gaming, and it's well, now I've just got my hopes up,
Yeah, it's definitely sort of the old versus the new, isn't it? The big mega conventions is that old guard, and these more singular offshoots is sort of the new way of doing things. Even you look at the Game Awards that sort of run at the end of every year now. There's a lot of exclusives and world firsts to get showcased at that now too. So
yeah, it's true.
Which is coming up soon. I'm excited.
I'm not.
Oh.
I'm actually really not. I don't know why. I think you see sometimes the bullshit politics that go behind the scenes. You're just
I think this is a great, I'm interested, not necessarily in the Game Awards, but I'm interested to see the Game of the Year discussions that happen at the end of this year.
Yeah, that's true. Or are they all single player? Is that what I remember seeing?
Are they all single player?
Single player story nominees?
I think so.
Yeah, single player story based nominees.
Yeah.
Unless I think Monster Hunter's one.
Cool.
I'm just looking at the same time.
Okay, fair enough.
So God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Celeste, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey are the Game of the Year nominees.
Yeah. Okay, so Monster Hunter is multiplayer, but the rest, single player, story based driven.
How crazy it to see Celeste in there amongst all these other AAA
So
tentpole
cool.
games.
That is so cool to see.
Yeah, like
I wish it all the best amongst those fucking juggernauts.
Yeah.
Though.
yeah. Out of that list, I'm assuming Red Dead's going to take it, just from my initial gut feeling.
I don't know.
You
I don't
thinking
know.
Spider-Man?
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I don't
God of
think
War
Spider-Man
is up there for me too.
I think God of War might sneak in.
Do you reckon? Or do you reckon? Because is this... I can't remember.
really do.
Do they decide on the awards based on public votes or...
The Game Awards, I think, haven't they got sort of like a private collective of people from around the industry?
Jonas,
yeah. I think
I
it's
thought
a
they were
Jono
just
based
nominees.
one. I don't know. I could be completely off track on that one, but we'll see. We'll have our own awards coming up soon too, which we need
That's
to
right,
get
that's
on.
right.
Festivus
Yes.
is around the corner.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, Festivus season is back.
Festivus is the
The
best
airing
of
of
us.
grievances.
All right, so the last sort of bit of news here. Adi Shankar's next video game animated series is Devil May Cry, and this comes via way of Rebecca Valentine at gamesindustry.biz. With the second season of his Castlevania animated series seemingly well received and a third already greenlit by Netflix, executive producer Adi Shankar is hard at work dreaming up the next series that will cement his hope of becoming, in quotes, the video game guy of the TV and film industry. This time, it's Devil May Cry. In an interview with IGN, Shankar has said that Devil May Cry, in quotes, will join Castlevania in what we're now calling the bootleg multiverse. Shankar also said that he's acquired these Devil May Cry rights myself, so the jabronis in Hollywood don't fuck this one up too, end quotes.
Good quote.
Yeah, I like his moxie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Castlevania.
Castlevania was good.
The first season was okay. It was like a table setter. 4 episodes, started to get good, and then it just finished. Second season, I haven't finished it yet, but it's really well done. The animation's great. The characters that they're sort of weaving in, there's some storylines and some genuine points of conflict and people that you can sort of root for or root against. But I don't know how they're going to turn this into a multiverse. That's the strange part, because we've sort of got almost like Blade Runner-esque sort of steampunk modern Devil May Cry, where Castlevania is typically set in, the 19th century, give or take.
Yeah, that was the part that I was kind of a bit unsure about. Happy for him to kind of take the reins on Devil May Cry. Very interesting way that he kind of announced it as well, doing a picture of himself.
Yeah,
Was
like
that him?
almost Boss
Yeah.
Logic as Dante. Like,
Yeah, that was the part that I was just about, like, I guess that's a way to announce something. Get yourself all cosplayed up. I guess it shows your dedication to the genre. So, and also good timing with Devil May Cry, the game coming out soon.
like, and there's some good, like, there's a great cast of characters in that Devil May Cry franchise that would lend itself to an animated style television show, and you could definitely dive into that lore and make it a long running series. Just sort of thinking out loud, the only way I could sort of see it interweaving into this, what does he call it, bootleg multiverse, is maybe because obviously Dracula and similar vampire or creature-esques, they're usually immortal, so maybe Dracula's the thread that goes through into modern day. That way you've got Dante and Nero and everyone else fighting against the Count himself.
There's a possibility, or else it's just being kind of like background references, like not necessarily like heavy intertwining, but just more, like little subtle things in the background, maybe that kind of just connect it all together.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
But I would watch this, like Shankar, he did really well with Castlevania, and if he can do similarly well with Devil May Cry, I would watch the hell out of that. I love the Devil May Cry franchise.
Yeah, the Devil May Cry franchise has that opportunity of being both grim, grotesque, but also funny. So I think with having that kind of combo, and then in that style that he also did for Castlevania, it has the potential for success and doing really well. So yeah, it would be good to see. Look forward to it.
What do you reckon, Dreamo?
I'm just a big fan of anyone who uses the word jabroni. Big fan.
Yeah, like he's got some big balls. Good on him though for sort of just YOLO on it, as you said, like getting himself cosplayed up as Dante, and then just right. So the jabronis in Hollywood don't fuck this one up too. It's like you're saying what a lot of us are thinking. We covered off on a lot of video game films just last week on episode 128. So
I think he was dressed up for his interview as well, and I think there's like a picture of him on like a red carpet somewhere with like big dark eyes, like makeup. I don't think it was like a one-off thing. I think he is like I think he is a bit of a dork in that sense. Not necessarily saying it's a negative, but as in someone that just enjoys their shit and doesn't really care what other people kind of think about it exactly. So hey, and we need that kind of representation when it comes to handling things that can make a fan base really, really angry. I already saw some posts anyway on Twitter of people saying like, you may need to make sure you use the right voice actors for this series. Like, don't use anyone else.
Like Devil May Cry is
already
known for many things, but the voice actors or the portrayal in that delivery of dialogue is not something that I sort of think on too heavily, because there's a lot of like dude bro sexual innuendo and terrible. I love a good pun, but some cringy puns and stuff like that. I think just about anyone could deliver those in a high regard.
Definitely. Oh, this could actually have a really good soundtrack too. Just taking that into consideration.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'm loving this video game blend into television and film more so, especially when they're throwing some good money and some good creative minds behind it. So hopefully this is definitely not the last time we see things like this. Maybe like a Mortal Kombat animated series.
Thank you. I was just about to say, hopefully someone will do Mortal Kombat and do it right and do it really well, and we'll finally get what we've been waiting for. That would be so good. Not neglecting that web series that we actually mentioned the other week.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone dedicating funds, time, and everything to that'd be great.
Yeah. So a couple more quick hits of news. Obviously, anyone that sort of uses the Steam marketplace owned by Valve, especially here in Australia, you'll be able to buy things in Australian currency moving forward as of this week. I do believe it's from November 21. Us Aussies will be able to see our purchase in the AUD, which will help alleviate any of that guesswork, especially with the floating US dollar constantly stabbing us in the ass more often than not.
You know what? I got the email from Steam saying like, "Hey Ali, guess what? You'll now see your Steam games in the Australian currency. Isn't that great?" And I'm like, "No, not for you, Steam, because when I buy a game and I just see that price point and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cheap. I don't think about it being actually American dollars and then it will convert into something more expensive. I'm living in that time and moment. So now I'm going to see the games in Australian dollars and actually see how expensive they are to me. And I will say, F no, I am not buying that game. So all my damn titty games, I'm just not going to be able to buy them because I'm not going to have that reckless spending.
Titty game bill shock coming your way soon.
That's the name of my biography.
Titty game bill shock.
Titty game bill shock.
Is this
the memoirs of Miss Ellie Hart?
Is this a good time to mention as well that the Black Friday sales are coming?
Yeah.
That's true too.
Yep.
That's a very good point.
They're coming. And they're coming for all of us.
Yeah.
And the good thing too, Sony have sort of dropped a couple of press releases this week as well in the Australian arm, and obviously no doubt that the US PR arms as well. There's heavily discounted AAA titles like Spider-Man, God of War, Detroit, all those games. I've heard anywhere up to 60% off on some of those games, which is pretty great. So if you haven't grabbed any of those exclusives, do yourselves a favor and pick them up when these Black Friday sales jump on us imminently.
Oh boy. But it's a good time also to do Christmas shopping as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There's a
Hell yeah.
100%.
We'll agree.
And the last little bit of news / rumor that I have dug up, Microsoft has plans to launch an Xbox One S that lacks a disk drive, according to unnamed sources in a rumor posted by Therot.com. So under the plan, the console will run less than $200, and Microsoft stores will support a special program whereby users can take in physical Xbox One media and trade it in for a digital download to their Xbox Live account. It's the first of many. The first you think of like laptops and things like that. Everything's diskless these days. Even our physical copy of Fallout 76 we got, which is on PC, comes with a cardboard disc with a bloody license key on it.
That patronizing effort of like putting freaking cardboard disc in that container is like the funniest thing. This whole diskless technology that's coming into play is companies with the assumption that everyone has access to good internet, which is really, really reckless if they got to know their Australian fucking environment. We still need that, guys. We do. So I'm not too sure how people that are living with great internet are going to accept this. I don't know if they're going to be like, finally. But I personally, just coming off the back of it, would be absolutely ropeable if they started getting rid of discs.
Yeah.
So
100% based off living conditions. Like if you've got some sizable bandwidth to play with at home or workplace or whatever, it's great. Like if it's saving you money, bringing down the manufacturing costs of this device where you're still getting that 4K and HDR and things like that for a fraction of the cost, and you've got to download, great. But yeah, for at least our region here in AU, it's not for everybody. That's for sure.
No, and especially when games like, do you remember when we, not to shit on it because I love the game, but just to shit on it a little, NBA 2K19 forced you to actually have the game open when you're downloading it. Like it let you download a small percentage of the game's core game files, and then would make you need to open the game and play this weird tutorial mode constantly. And I had to have that open for like hours and hours and hours and hours while it downloaded. It sucked.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that, 2K.
And Red Dead was so big that
2 discs.
Disc-wise, it needed 2 discs.
Yeah.
So
But I like...
imagine...
Sorry.
I was just going to say, imagine someone with terrible internet trying to freaking download that bad boy.
Yeah, it would suck. But to Microsoft's credit, they've recently introduced, I forget what they call it, they've got like a fancy Microsoft style name for it where it's like Microsoft Priority Gaming or something cool like that, where they prioritize core game files during download so that you can play it sooner. So they're at least doing that, and that will go a long way in sort of alleviating the pain people feel when they're downloading games, but it still sucks in our region.
Yeah,
100%.
That's why connecting and looping all the way back and getting that thread going, you got to move to Brisbane. Where we are right now, we've got 100 megabits down, 40 megabits up guaranteed. Life is good up here in the Sunshine State.
I'm sure there's
warm.
people in other countries listening to this right now going, oh, you poor son of a bitch.
How close are you to water? That's my question.
We've got a lake about 400 meters away.
Don't talk to me about your
Is
lakes.
that what you meant?
Well, you said water.
You know what I meant.
To get to the beach, it's about probably...
Australia's water power.
How often are you going down to the lake, Brendan?
Nearly every day, because all the shops are along the waterfront there and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice. That's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
but no, there's like a beach. There's a beach probably 30 to 40 minutes away.
Yeah, cool. That's great. That's perfect. Yeah, same.
Yeah, but I've got nice network infrastructure too.
Yeah. I got Sydney roads to contend with.
I live in the ditch of Sydney. I'm not saying anything.
Anyway.
All right. So that has been the news. Is there anything either of you two wanted to bring to the table before we start closing episode 129 up?
Everyone should just probably start looking at the socials because 8-Bit and Hungry Gamers Game of the Year will be starting up. So definitely stick to the socials and looking out for nominations for that. Always a fun time of the year. And Sam,
I'm trying to think of something. I was like, I want to give someone a shout out. but I don't know.
Next
I don't know
time-
who I'm going
yeah.
to shout out. You know what? I'm going
Alright.
to shout out Brendan, and Rachel, Brendan and Rachel, who have just announced some fantastic news to the world that you are now expecting a lovely baby girl.
Thank you. Yeah, we are.
Congratulations. That is beautiful.
We are over
Youngest
the moon.
member of the 8-bit family.
That's it. Little baby Charlie Rose is due into the world next May. So keep your eyes peeled to the Twitter sphere for that come May when this little hurricane comes out and greets us all. But no, it's really exciting. She's all in good health. Rachel's in good health. We're in good spirits, and the support and love that we have received from everybody announcing this past week has been very humbling and very touching. So thank you to everyone that has reached out on socials, on phone, on whatever platform, because it's been really nice. Really nice.
We love you, Dad.
Shout out. Yeah, shout out to the daddy gamers.
That's it. And another quick shout out to Ben and Trevor from the Bitstorm podcast, who hit the 100 episode milestone last week. It's no small feat. And they do some good work, taking buzzwords and creating them into video games. It's really good to listen to. Check them out on all those podcast platforms, because they've got a constant rotation of high quality guests. Some lower quality, like myself, that was on, I think I was on episode 24 or something, way back when. But yeah, give them a listen. Their 100th episode actually had Jono and Jack from 8-Bit fame on there, bringing in the episode 100. So give them a spin. And also everyone else in the hashtag 8-Bit Collective. Find Ali at Miss Ali Hart. Find the Dream at Salim TD. Find me at Brendan 8-Bit. Find everyone else at We Are 8-Bit. But until next week, where episode 130 is coming without Brendan 8-Bit, but the two legendary co-hosts I'm with doing a duo show.
Pew pew.
Much love.
Stay hungry.
Yeah, I pew-pewed right as you're like, sorry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.